Fucking hey, special day, you guys. We got friends in the studio.
Oh, special day when Johnny was drinking.
Sister Act? That's from Sister Act, I'm pretty sure.
Is it? I thought it was just a religious song.
Do you guys know Sister Act?
Know of it, haven't seen it.
Whoopi Goldberg?
Yes!
Oh, shit!
Queen.
Have you seen it?
I haven't seen it, but I remember there was a DVD in our music room all the time. And I think it was like a rainy day, like just in case movie.
Yeah.
Like, oh, this is somewhat music related. Chuck it in the VCR.
It is music related.
Yeah.
It's sick.
Yeah.
Go and watch Sister Act.
Yeah, I feel like
It's
I
part
have
musical,
to.
isn't it? Essentially, she
I
sings a
really-
lot of songs in
Heaps
it.
of, well, not just her. There's like a whole thing in it. There's like the
Choir.
school kids doing the thing. There's the nuns
Yeah.
doing the thing.
Well, I love Sound of Music, so that's nuns.
Definitely different to that.
Yeah.
But it's...
But there are nuns.
yeah.
Yeah.
There are nuns.
And I like Whoopi Goldberg. She's cool.
She's a boss.
She's a
She
G.
is cool.
He's reminiscing right now. I'm trying to remember what it's actually about.
No,
I'm
you
trying
were
to think
there,
of what-
weren't you?
I went and saw it at the cinema when it came out.
The thing is, you probably could have.
I probably could have.
I've taken your job. I'm so
No, you're so
Fuck.
welcome. You're so
Fucking
welcome.
one. Thought we were friends. What was the first movie you ever went to see at the movie theatre?
I was literally just talking about this. Finding Nemo.
Oh, okay.
Oh, you're so young.
Like,
I know we've said
Say it
it on videos,
creepier, Nath.
but
Say it creepier.
I was in school.
I might have seen other movies before that, but
But
that's the first one I remember. Like,
Yeah,
I have
sure.
visceral memories being there. Yeah.
Do you remember?
I want to say The Incredibles. I'm not sure.
God damn, you guys went hard on the Pixar, didn't you?
Yeah.
Well,
That's all that existed. You and
we were
I.
also children. Like, what
Yeah.
else is
No,
there?
but we're old as fuck, and we had Disney, like actual Disney,
Disney,
hand-drawn
yes.
animation.
Yeah.
What was yours?
Is The Lion King Disney or Pixar?
Disney. I don't know if I'm standing on it.
No,
Yeah,
Lion King's
Because I remember
the
that
original-
being like a
the
big part of
cartoon one.
my young childhood.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
probably watched it. So I was talking about this with my sister because her kids loved Hercules, like the actual drawn
Oh, yeah.
Hercules.
Honey, you mean Hercules? Is that you?
Yeah.
I'm in front of you, Hercules. I don't know if you noticed it. But I thought that's so weird because they're so young. They're like between the ages now of 5 and 10. And so they had all the Pixar, that stuff, but they chose the animated drawn stuff. Like Hercules was their favourite.
Yeah.
I was like, that's an interesting thing.
You can't beat. You just can't. If it ain't broke, don't fix it, right?
We didn't get to hear what was your first movie,
Yeah.
just because I think it's going to be really old.
It was probably some like Charlie Chaplin.
There's no sound.
This is bullshit. Yeah. It's like, why they mime him? It was E.T.
That's not. Yeah.
But that...
No full sentences.
that game, yeah.
That's definitely something.
Yeah, that's a thing. That's a movie. But didn't that come out in like 84, 86 or something? So this is the thing though. I can't remember if I saw it when it actually came out or whether it was like a re-release or something. Because
Yeah, sure.
I also, like, if it came out in 82, 84, I wasn't going to remember it when I was like 0 or 2.
Yeah.
So...
So that's your first movie you remember going to?
Yes.
Okay, sure.
They used to do. That was a thing back then.
Totally unintentional, right? Yeah. Yeah. Did you guys plan this? Plan this? You're standing out there going, that'll teach them to not open
My
the door
face
straight
will be
away.
so red right now. I literally vowed to you not to make any jokes.
That's why.
Also, the first thing you said was, you're not that old. We didn't get that on fucking camera, did we?
Didn't happen. That's why.
No.
I saw Aladdin. That was
Yeah.
my first one, and that was like.
It's a good one too.
Yeah, it was a great one. Cried. Definitely cried in
Aw.
that. Yeah, emotional. But
What bit made you cry in Aladdin?
I think when the princess like kicked him out because he was like a fake prince and
Oh,
he didn't get the
yeah.
girl to start with. I think little 5-year-old me or whatever old I was pretty caught up in that.
Justice for Aladdin.
True. Anyway, let's talk about what we're supposed to talk about. Johnny's hella old. No, I want to talk. We get to talk album.
Yeah,
Because
Yeah,
have you guys
we
done
do.
the album talks yet?
Oh, heaps.
Great.
Oh,
Cool.
okay, cool.
Well, I have.
She's done a lot, yeah.
I've done.
Have you done any album talks? Great.
Put him on
Put me
the.
on the spot.
Yeah.
He's about to explode with all the things he wants to say. He's been listening to Mondum going, wrong.
So wrong.
Well, what I was going to say before we started was what's the response been to the new single that came out today.
I mean, yeah, literally today. So I'm
Literally
still
today.
compiling my thoughts. They're good so far. I mean, I think that the interesting thing is that, like, Dying Light is different again. Like, you know, like you've got Terminal, which is like different from Relica, but, you know, it's sort of like building up this new image for us, sort of this new aesthetic that we're hitting. Then you've got Killstar, which is like so different from Terminal, but it's coming back to like Relica roots sort of thing.
Got a little bit more of that sort of
Techie,
genty, proggy sort of.
yeah, exactly. But then you go to Dying Light and you're like, psych, like it's different again. So yeah, like people have just been thrown for a loop with this campaign, really. And I mean, the people who those who get it. You know what I mean? Like,
Get it?
Get it? Got it. They're all like, got it. Oh, they can't hear us. It's all right, we can't hear you either.
yeah. So it's been interesting, like really good, I think. But I mean, it's so fresh. Like we're talking
Was
about
that a conscious decision from you guys to roll out and being like, each single's going to have a very different vibe so that when they get to the album, you can expect complexities? Or was that a record label decision? Or is that a fluke?
Well, I reckon it was pretty much all of the above, but definitely intentional in a way because, yeah, the album is very diverse. And I think that those 3 singles, in collaboration with the label, because they had a say, of course, but we were super happy with their picks because it's like, yeah, this does like hit sort of 3 very diverse corners of the album, and then everything else is kind of like sitting in between. It like has something in common with Killstar and Dying Light, or something in common with Killstar and Terminal. Like they all sort of like fit nicely in that triangle.
I feel like as well as you listen to the album, there's a really nice like that pattern to where they sit in the actual playlist to tie in that way. Like opening with the new single, which, by the way, boss energy. Just sick boss
Great
energy.
move as well. Like, it's a bold move as well to release the opening track as a single. Like, from my perspective as well, if you come from the old guy thing where we used to...
Are you old?
It's a myth. It's a myth.
Taylor's old as time.
Yeah.
Taylor's old as Johnny.
Never gets old. I do. No. But like, you know, when you come from an age where you like to pick up an album and you've already heard a couple of the singles, but the opening track was always something was like, how are they going to kick this off? How are they going to lead into these songs?
Mystery.
Yeah, but you guys have been like, this is where it starts, and people are then going to be taken on the ride from that point.
Well, Brandon, can you remind me, was the track list picked before the singles, or was it vice versa?
Yeah. No, track list was picked first because we all did kind of like our own draft of what we think the album, what it should be.
And I actually...
Yours was the one I'm pretty sure we went with.
No,
Wasn't it?
I wasn't going to open with Dying Light.
Oh, that was the only
I
difference.
wanted to open with what is now track 2. Basically, 1 and 2 were reversed. But then it was campaigned to do it the switch, and now it does make sense now that like we've had some time to sit with it and vibe it out. Like there is like a beauty to leaving that opening track as a mystery, but like I guess there are plenty of other mysteries to uncover, and it's really about like, I mean, a 52 song. That's a lot.
Oh, yeah,
Wow.
It's a never-ending album.
52-minute album is quite an investment, I think, these days for people invest in. So giving them the opening track, and if they like that, hopefully, like that's going to be the selling point. Okay, maybe I should check this thing out. Yeah. So it's a strategy.
It's a strategy.
It certainly is
one of many.
It is certainly one of the strategies that I've ever seen. But yeah, it's yet to be seen how successful it will be.
For you guys though, when you complete an album, you're like, yay, album's done. And when you are sort of, you know, storyboarding how you want the album to go, and when you're recording and you're doing pre-pro and you're listening to the mixes and then you're going over and over and over, then you're doing redos and bits and pieces, then you're listening to the master and you've heard the album 500 times by then. When that track list finally gets selected and you then listen to it again from start to finish, does it kind of give it a rejuvenated sort of vibe for you guys? Yeah. Or are you still sort of like, I've heard this so much?
No, to me, it feels like an album at that point.
Yeah,
when it's kind of that full, as opposed to just like a collection of songs, it feels like a finite album once that's all sorted.
Yeah.
we have had the album for a bit, so I didn't know this was going to be the single, the last single. This is the last single, right?
It is, yeah.
Cool, just checking. So I actually came at it from the perspective of just hearing that song for the first time as the first track. I don't think it would have changed whether it was a single or it was that.
Yeah.
Because I just heard it being like, fuck, that's a sassy first song.
Cool.
That's fun.
Yeah.
And then have it as a single, I think that's a really cool move because it is showcasing and for people who aren't familiar with the band, they might be able to fall into that, whereas there might be something else that didn't grab them the same way.
Yeah, exactly.
So I feel like it's, regardless of whether that was like a smart thing from an album release standpoint, I think it's cool just because people are going to get to hear a side of the band that they might not have heard from you so far because it is so different from anything you've done so far.
Exactly, yeah. Like I said it on, we just launched one of those like broadcast channels on Instagram and I'm kind of loving it actually. I wasn't sure how I was going to feel about it, but I'm loving it because I'm just yapping on voice message. You can use the voice
I've done it.
Yeah. And I'm actually loving that. And that was actually one of the points that I said. I'm like, I don't think that we've ever had anything with this kind of attitude before. And I think a lot of that comes down to confidence too. Because like we're kind of putting quite an intense foot forward with this song, you know, in terms of the attitude and the sort of sass and the bite behind it. So
you captioned it in your story quite well.
We don't have to repeat that.
Because we'll be demonetized. But
yeah, if you know, you know. If you know, you know.
yeah, and if you're not following one, you might have to do yourself a favour.
It's just the fingernails emoji. What is it? The nail polish emoji. Yeah.
Got it.
Beautiful.
I've got that energy.
Yeah, exactly.
But like you've said, you know, a few times that this is a new era for the band. It's a new aesthetic. It's a new sound, or you're trying new sounds. I think it's kind of pretty unheard of to see a band that's still so early in their career and so young have that.
Every band compared to Johnny. Sorry, we're all thinking.
I was like, don't set him up, don't.
Yeah. But I think it's so rare to see a band that is so early in their career and so young have the foresight to make moves like that now. And it kind of is a great thing because you guys have a great fan base, and obviously through reaction channels and, you know, just Spotify and playlists in general, through the tours that you guys have found yourselves on, you're obviously building a really good fan base. Yeah. But there's still so many fucking people out there that haven't heard you before. So this is going to be a first taste, and you're going to, you know, not that you haven't already, but they're going to find you and be like, this band is so well put together. They got their shit sorted.
Yeah.
And, you know, like, you've done that so soon on in the piece. You kind of, in a way, you don't have the fan base from the past to really come at you guys. You're not like not like poor Thornhill who went from metalcore
and
to
like,
and everyone's like, fuck this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
So in that sense, it's really cool. But was it still daunting for you guys to make these, like, especially aesthetically and stuff? Like, or you just...
I think we're all pretty open to really anything because we haven't really honed in what we want to do completely yet.
Okay.
So we're just
That's
like, let's
it.
just do whatever and see what works.
Exactly. Like, the open-mindedness is something that I've been hammering home, like, so much when people ask similar questions, is like, yeah, because we're at that point where we don't have that pre-existing notions about what RELIQA is. I mean, we've laid the groundwork through EPs and the like. Like, I mean, I don't know what I am. Like, it set up this really nice foundation for where we're going, but there's still...
We literally told you we don't know.
This is it. That's exactly right. So I think the way I described it the other day was because someone approached me like I think it was in another like conversation about the album. They were saying like, oh, so like I don't know what I am. Like if I call it IDK, that's what I mean. IDK is like a kid on red cordial, like, you know, bouncing off the walls, like going like all these kinds of directions. Like, so how does the album compare to that? And I sort of said, look, I think we've doubled the dose of red cordial, but we've learned how to tolerate it more. Yeah. Like, we've learned how to stomach
It's
it.
sugar-free now.
It's sugar-free, yeah. We've sort of, it's the adult version, I guess. Like,
It's wine.
It's basically just wine.
Red vodka. Went great for like 30 minutes and then...
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, it's very much an experiment still. Like we're still sitting in that very open-minded experimental situation, but we do have like access to the resources now and to the, I guess, like a level of maturity that allows us to sort of like level up that a lot and feel a lot more confident. I keep hammering onto this confidence behind it because like, of course we're not like 6 albums deep level of confidence, you know, but we are, we're a lot more sure of ourselves in that our identity is very diverse and open-minded sort of thing.
The other cool thing, you know, like I've obviously been around music a little bit longer than you. Don't know how. We're pretty much the same age. But the other thing is for a lot of bands, that first EP or that first album comes with a natural confidence because you haven't been like burnt or fucked by the industry.
Wait for album 2, guys.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Like, that's the thing. It's, you know, it's the sophomore. It's the 6 years. You know, 6 albums like set down the track. It's like, how do we keep reinventing ourselves? How do we keep appealing to our fans while trying new things, making ourselves happy?
It's a terrifying thought, to be honest.
Yeah, so I'm glad that I've just told you about that.
Just before you've done number 1, think about how scared you are of number 2. Yeah. So there's that.
Oh, trust me, I'm already cooking on that fear. Yeah, we're already
I want to get back to something we talked about before, away from Johnny's scare tactics. I want to talk about, and this is more towards you, but it does affect you here. Did you guys cop anything? Because there is an image refresh, change.
Yes.
Like you said, you're taking some challenges in this one, which I fucking love, by the way. Are you copying anything for that? Of being like a female front in the band, being like, oh, they're doing it because she's the front lady in there? Or has it been just overwhelming, like everyone's like, oh, cool, they're trying something different?
So overall, it's been really positive, but I'm really glad that you brought that up because that's definitely on my mind. Like, like styling has been a big part of this campaign so far.
Yeah.
And so, like, it feels so refreshing to us to be able to do that, and like, I feel like we wanted it for so long too, but haven't really had the resources or the capacity to really go there. But now, obviously, with like label support and things like that, it helps us a lot to be able to branch out.
Yeah.
And so it was, definitely scary. I mean, like the first promo we ever dropped of this campaign, I am not wearing a shirt. I'm wearing a blazer and I'm like taped up. Like this is a bit of the behind the scenes information.
Weirdly, I'm always taped up. Don't worry about it. Right now, it's
You're
all
also never wearing
a
a shirt. Yeah. I had to force him to put one on for this.
For real, like this is especially being in like the heavy music sphere. It's very masculine centered, and like it's only now that like there are a lot of like artists paving the way, and people have done it before. You know, Gwen Stefani is a great example. I'm talking about like Queen Courtney LaPlante doing it now. Like these sort of icons that I look up to now, being able to do this, and like by no means are we pioneers in that sphere, but there are still a lot of steps to be taken in like the normalization of that. But
also being able to do that without their view being
the objectifying,
all based on the sexuality. It's like, well, I mean, like, for instance, sex sells, you know?
Yes.
Like, you know, with your fashion.
Why do you think this channel's so good? Johnny's very sexy.
It's so true.
Check out these
No, you're absolutely right. Like, it was really scary in with all that happening, but thankfully, like, generally the response has been really positive, and honestly, like, it's kind of part of the album's themes too. Like this fear of my femininity, and like I sort of stepped into that a little bit during IDK, but now I've really gone into it on the album because at the beginning of our career, I felt like I had to be like one of the boys. You know, I would only wear like oversized t-shirts and like just black shirt and jeans kind of thing, and like call it a day. But like there's so much power in, as you would know so well, there's so much power in like fashion and putting your best foot forward through styling. And I think it's made us all a lot more confident.
For sure. The flip side of that is I also know that there is a flip side of that, of people being like, you're making it all about the way you look and not
exactly.
about the
that I think is that I think has been the one, like the main roadblock, not roadblock, but like the main bit of critique we received, like especially from like as much as we adore Nuclear Blast, especially from their audience, like, because they're listening to dad metal, they're listening to thrash metal, like
thrash,
they
Swedish
do
metal,
not care at all about the styling, and they take one look at a film clip like the one we released today, and they're like, the fuck is this? Like, why is Nuclear Blast giving this to me? So yeah, I think we were a bit of a risk to take on for them as well, because their audience is quite a lot more, I definitely don't want to say narrow-minded, because they listen to some really broad genres of music.
It's generally an older style. I think it was a fucking genius move them signing you guys, because you guys have such a huge career ahead of you.
Thank you.
Not blowing smoke. I genuinely believe that.
Cool.
And I think that you will help usher them into a new era.
I think so,
because they have traditionally had an older demographic and older bands. Taking a chance on something like you, I don't think it's taking a chance. It's just going, well, this is the future, let's embrace it and give it a good go.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Going back to the flip side of what, because I focus on you from the fashion.
Yes.
How have you guys found that? Because as a guy, we just talked about, like, I'm pretty comfortable being like, I just do what I fucking want.
Yeah.
Most people don't have that. Have you guys had any, like, anxiety, stress around that? Or is it you just stoked to do whatever?
It's cool to do something different than the black shirt and jeans that I typically do, because it's just easy to slap that on and call it a day.
And it works.
It works really well, But it's cool to do something different, and I think we're all pretty open-minded with what we want to wear and what we want to look like.
I love it. I think I continue to what we've seen in the last video. I was so stoked on the styling of it. I think it's so cool. Like, fucking mesh chainy shirt.
I thought you'd like it.
So good.
Yeah.
I think just because people aren't doing it as much, particularly in the space you're in. It's cool to see it.
That's right.
From the whole band. Not just you. Because I think for you
to
do it...
We've seen that as well. You know, I always say this when we check out Aussie bands on the channel. I feel like there is such... And I don't want to, like, sound derogatory to bands that aren't Australian, or like I'm just like, Australia. But young Aussie bands have a greater sense of wanting to push themselves and try different things and, you know, hit those visual aspects and change their sound sonically. I mean, you just got to look at bands like we mentioned, Thornhill, Sonic Shift, Visual Shift, going into fashion and stuff like that. Void, you know, Jack was always big on it.
Void,
now, the rest of the band
Yeah.
have gone, yep, cool, this is what we're doing. Even North Lane, you know, like,
yes, yeah.
It's so cool to see the Aussie bands just be like, well, we're on this fucking island, super far away from anyone. Let's just do what we want.
Gonna have to do
Let's
something.
wear leather.
In the hottest continent.
The hot country,
yeah.
Great idea.
Hey, it looks good.
You know, even let's get onto the music side of things as well. There has been now, I know, you know, like if you're a prog, tech metal, genty style band, that's a really well respected part of the heavy music scene. Okay, if you can do it, especially if you can do it well, which you guys obviously can. But also, I feel like the Red Cordial thing on this album, you guys have learnt when to utilize that. There's the restraint on this album was so refreshing, and not gonna lie, at times I was like, when's it coming? When's the bit coming?
Like a jump scare in a movie.
Yeah,
you're waiting for it.
But when they come, it's like, look, they don't need to do this for 3.5 minutes every song. Yeah, they don't have to. Because it's just done so tastefully.
You're speaking my language so much right now. I even said it about, I'll let you speak because, of course, a lot of it comes down to the guitar work. But I've said that so much of, like, I'm going to gas Brandon up for a minute because...
Love it. Do it.
So much of...
Wait till she calls you old.
He's younger than me. Just,
You're the old one.
I actually am in the band. Ooh. But, so much of Brandon's guitar work... on this album was about restraint, like, and I'll let you testify to that, but I have found so many moments on the album that I've just fallen in love with over and over again, and they are the simplest ones as well. Like, thinking about like track 10, 2 Steps Apart, I never let him hear the end of this. The solo in that song just melts my heart still, because it's like 3 notes. Like, I don't know. Like,
it's all about the feel. It's all about those subtleties.
That's something that we chased on this album, because we've so often written in like a very production line style of writing, whether Brandon comes to the table with a demo and then it gets picked up, like a little bit of pre-pro here and there, like sort of every member has their contribution and then packaged up a song, but it's so that was so based on parts. Like we were such a parts heavy band, but the two of us in particular, like when we started like working more closely with Chris Blancato, our producer, there were like experiments involved in how little we could prepare and how like we could how much restraint we could exercise and like how we could set limits for ourselves, and it was all about like that emotional touch to it. And this is where I want to hear from you, because I've been thinking about this a lot recently.
I think a lot of the restraint primarily comes from me not wanting to play 3 to 4 minutes of stream 7 times.
It's a strategy.
Every night.
I love it.
I love the honesty.
Yeah,
It's
gas
just
it
like-
up,
Me
or
being
to
like,
just be told,
"Oh,
well,
it's
guys,
all
the secret is I'm
about
lazy.
you."
Honest to God, it probably is primarily that, but also I just don't want, like, I write music that I want to listen to and that I enjoy.
That's it.
Yeah.
Obviously, I've listened to the shit out of this album. I don't want to listen to shred every single song for an entire album.
It gets fatiguing.
It gets very old. A really good example, just quickly, is Archspire, their most recent album. It's like 29, 30 minutes long because it's all just tech death. But it's like the perfect length where it's like, okay, cool, I'm satisfied.
I'm
now.
done. Yeah.
With a 52-minute album, absolutely
Yeah.
no way. And it's cool to just try something different as opposed to like, cool, what's the hardest part I can write, and play that and try and get you to write vocals over it.
Oh, yeah.
It's kind of...
it does help with that synergy as well.
Yeah.
Like, being able to write over it, it opens up heaps of doors for me as a vocalist too.
Yeah.
By
There's a lot
working
more
with-
space.
Yeah.
For sure.
There's kind of been like a bit of a mind switch, especially with working with Chris and like prioritizing vocals. Like obviously if I present a whole track, I've already done like drums, bass, guitar, synths, everything.
Pretty much.
There's not really much room for vocals at the
Yeah.
end. So having vocals at the beginning or kind of like dialing the guitar back a bit leaves more room for Manning to do what she does. So
I'm going to get to what you do in a second. Because
We talk enough about that, don't we?
it just reminds, because I had a conversation with Sean a while back from Make Them Suffer.
Oh yeah, King.
We love Sean, and you know Sean.
We love Sean.
But he was saying, he's like, that exact thing. He's like, when we first started, it was just like deathcore, super fast,
how heavy.
writing,
Yeah.
and then how many words can fit in there.
Yeah.
And now he's like, I can't play those songs anymore because I
Yeah.
don't do that, and it's so hard, and no one wants to hear just non-stop verbiage at them.
Yeah.
Which is kind of, I guess, the same thing. Like, it's allowing longevity in these early songs.
and just seeing
Yes.
what works live as well. It's
Yeah.
like there's a lot of
Yeah.
techie parts that like sound really cool in the studio and like on Spotify and whatever.
when you've had 20 minutes to record it,
Exactly.
sort of thing.
You play it
Yeah.
live, and even just like, you know, we record our songs, our sets on phones, and just listening to it back, it's like, it doesn't really hit, or the crowd
Oh,
doesn't
yeah,
really
okay.
receive
Yeah.
the same energy that we
We
feel.
definitely do study ourselves a lot.
For sure.
Yeah.
Just to see what works and what people like.
Yeah.
It's really good to have that, I guess, that self-awareness and be able to critique yourself and take it that seriously. A lot of bands would just be so stoked they're playing some of the shows
Yeah.
you guys are. You guys are like playing
Well, there's that too.
huge bands and then getting off and going, right, where did we fuck up?
You
literally
say
what
that
we
like
do.
a joke, but that is literally what we do.
Yeah.
I know, like, of course, there is this is actually something that I'm trying to emphasize a lot more to the band. Like, guys, please, let's savor this moment. Let's enjoy it as well. Like, because in the past, we definitely were, like, probably a little bit too critical of ourselves. But, so we definitely have learned to find a joy in it as well, which is part of why there's so much space in our record as well, because there's it's feel, it's joy. But genuinely what we do is like once the shine's worn off, we usually have like a couple of angles that we're just filming on our phones of the set, and sometimes it's like we'll get back to like our accommodation or whatever, and it's like the late night and we can't sleep, and we'll just be watching it and be like, oh, that was sick, oh, that we can change, oh, that was
Oh, that angle.
sometimes it is very unflattering, don't get me wrong.
I don't do that. I wish I did, because then someone would be like, hey, uploaded a fucking YouTube video of your set the other night. I'm like, great.
Yeah, thanks for that.
Why do I have my legs around that pole mid-set? What the fuck am I
Also,
doing?
it's like the straight up shorts shot.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Now, back to what you do.
Yes.
Vocally, this one, I feel like you've also found like a new comfort in your sound.
Mm-hmm.
I've always liked, and we've said this from like the very first time we ever checked you guys out, I love that you sound like you sing the way you are.
You mentioned the Australian accent.
I love that.
Yeah.
Because you can hear, and it's also in the way you speak. I don't know if you noticed that, but you like speak the way you sing.
Okay.
I really like that, and I feel like there's a more comfortable level here, and it could be because you've actually written it to allow that to stand out a bit more in this. Was that something that was like present for you to be like, cool, I've got more of a focus on me because there's a bit more space for my vocals here?
Yeah, I think it was actually almost like the opposite too, because I remember at the beginning of the process, like when we were sort of critiquing our past songwriting, like with Chris, because it does help to have an outsider perspective, be like, hey, here's what I reckon we could do, just because sometimes you're too zoomed in, and then once you have someone that's a little bit further away from the project, you kind of gain some perspective. So Chris said that something that we would really benefit from was writing with vocals first, not literally first in the process, but pretty early on in the process, as opposed to kind of at the end, which is what we've been doing in the past.
Because at that point you feel like, you know, if you've already written all the riffs and you've mapped out the bass and the drums, what you want them to do, and you take it to Mon and go, hey, check out this song, it's done. And
I'm writing for guitar at that point. Yeah. So like, as in, which has merit, of course, because like there are people out there who want to listen to guitar, and so like I'm just sort of taking a back seat to some of those really techie parts. But so that was where the experiment came in, I guess, was this, hey, what would you sound like if you wrote with vocals in mind? Because I hope that I don't sound conceited in saying this. It's just like, it's feedback that we've received is that like the vocals are part of what sets us apart as a band, like because a lot of our instrumentals are very metalcore centered, metalcore and like quite heavy techie sort of thing. So when you've got like a clean vocalist who doesn't scream over that, it can set itself apart. So it's like trying to put that forward as rather than a restraint, but like a strength, like an asset to the band, as opposed to like, oh, she doesn't scream, that's a downside, whatever, like throw it in the bin. Like so instead using like my ability as a vocalist as sort of a
like a juxtaposition.
Yeah, exactly. And as a starting point to, okay, what should we do with our guitars to service the vocals? Yeah. So yeah, and that's what we did. So one of the first songs that we wrote on this album was track 2, Cave. And it was Brandon and I, we went to Chris's studio, and this was he said, bring nothing, do not prepare. The only thing I brought was like pen and paper, and I've never written pen to paper before. I only write like on Google Docs, you know. Here we go. So I brought my quill and I brought my parchment paper for you. So, and Brandon brought his guitar, and Chris was like, all right, write something. And so Brandon riffed around and sort of like until we felt something, and it was like, oh, like, that's nice, like I like that key, or I like that sort of general direction you're going in. And we basically wrote a riff together in that room, and all the while, and then Chris basically said, okay, you've got 10 minutes, write a vocal part, I do not care if it's shit, sort of thing. So
thank God.
I was like, please, no. And
he's like, oh, I kind of do care. Can you do it again?
Well, I care if it's shit, you know, like he didn't care, but I was like, I've always been a bit of a like sort of a stickler, a bit of a perfectionist when it comes to the parts. But like, so writing with like feel in mind, we got something down that ended up being sick, and like, so, and it felt very vocal forward. And so, we used that method a couple times throughout the album, and it was interesting. Yeah. It feels more like a strength now than because I've had insecurity about that, you know, like, oh, she doesn't scream, you know, like, am I going to add up to vocalists like Courtney who can do it all, sort of thing. So then it was a matter of taking what I do have and using it as an asset and really trying to make it shine, rather than feeling like I have to have access to these many skills and being able to use all of them.
But I think something that you need to remember is also, when you mention Courtney who can do it all, doing it all doesn't necessarily mean doing it all for every single band. Doing it all means doing all that you can to use all of your skills and your strengths to service your songwriting.
Servicing the song. That was like honestly the be all and end all for the album was servicing the song, rather than trying to do something way too far out, whether that's way too techie or whether that's way too too much going on with the vocals, like no hooks, no like repeats on the melodies and stuff like that. So it was about that restraint that you were talking about before.
Do you think that now that you've done things like that, where it's just been you and mine, and it's kind of like, first idea, what do you got? Do you think that that will help you in the future tap into maybe writing something more? I don't know if you think about vocals when you're writing, because obviously Mon's going to come in and do her thing.
Exactly, yeah.
But has that given you another vision of how to write when you're doing it directly with Mon there like that?
Yeah, it's given me a different outlook as to what we can sound like based on the process that we've written the song on. So it's kind of like I've kind of got an appreciation for how every song on the album was written. We still do. Like, I still write stuff here and there. Not as much because we've been busy. But it's definitely made me kind of want to go back to like how just us two writing more, because I think we get a lot more out of the song with both of us being there.
And it feels like there's less pressure too. Like, no, I have more of a fun time, like an enjoyable experience writing songs when it is in the same room. Like,
it's much more organic.
It feels more like we're on like a level playing field sort of thing. Because in the past I've felt like maybe you've felt elevated over me because you had an upper hand, I guess, by having like the full song in front of you and knowing what the song you want the song,
of what the song is
knowing what you want the song to be. But then I get thrown a demo and I'm like, whoa, and then I've got to like navigate my way through the parts, and
you have to do that.
Or that.
Can you change this bit?
And I have. Like,
it always ends up being better.
Yeah.
Thank you.
He's a big man of saying that.
You have that on record.
Yeah, it's true.
But it is so nice because I know myself, my band now, we basically write everything together in the room.
Yeah.
And I haven't done that for so fucking long.
Yeah.
There's magic to it.
It's so fun.
Yeah,
it's
you
so
get it.
nice.
Yeah.
Like, to have everyone in there throwing in their opinions at the same time, because it's so naive and arrogant to think that, regardless of how good a musician you are, songwriter, to think that I'm going to be able to write this song, I'm going to take it to the rest of the band and they're going to love it because it's great.
Yeah.
Because I know what I know. But it's just like, but what about all these other ideas that could make that song still great?
Exactly.
But different.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it can get overwhelming too, like to have all of those voices too at the same time, which I think is partially why we did break it up a little bit. Like, so we started off with me and Brandon, and then we did like a me and Miles combo as well. And then we did some with all of us. And then we did some with, it was literally an experiment sort of thing, like just seeing what clicks and seeing what doesn't. And, we went away at the beginning of last year to the Snowy Mountains, and we we did like a little writing retreat sort of thing. We had like a week away with Chris and the band, and there was magic to that too. Like, just our only responsibility was songwriting, and that was really cool to just pour into it. And morning to night we were just like working around the clock, and that's hopefully something we can do a lot more in the future. Like, I want to do that, it just reinforced this idea that like this is what I want to do, and it just feels so special, I think.
I want to know what your favourite songs are.
Oh, he's going for the hard ones.
No, if I was going to do that, I'd say, okay, favourite song, and if you had to get rid of one song.
Oh!
Well, that's coming after. I'm going to
answer that.
I'm going to answer that, yeah. I think favourite song still is probably A Spark. The second last song, the more electronic inspired one.
Yeah.
That's so
and if I had
how
to
non-guitarist.
I know, I'm saying like that is so rogue for him.
What about it? Oh, I don't want to have an answer. I want details.
Yeah. Honestly, it's just, I don't know. It's so something that I wouldn't write, and like I listen to my stuff that I write all the time, so I get sick of it pretty quickly. So just having something that doesn't necessarily initially sound like us brought to the table is just really cool, and I've kind of just stuck with it since.
Okay,
it's really cool.
Sure.
Yeah, and then Crossfire. Crossfire's a song I get rid of.
Okay, why?
Not a great answer. I just think it's the weakest on the album. But the tricky thing is just all the songs are just really good. So it's a tough question. It's a tough question to answer, but instinctively Crossfire.
Okay. That's a first,
Okay. I think the funny thing is we've like switched.
Yeah.
My favourite song on the album at the moment is The Flower, which is track 4, I think, track 4. And it's heavy, it's techie.
It's got some chug.
You know what? That's kind of cool in a way. I'm sort of like psychoanalyzing us at the moment because it shows that we've worked so on such an integrated level this time that I can fall in love with like the techie side of things and he can fall in love with
better appreciation for it.
I think so. Yeah. It felt more collaborative this time around. So I feel like it's like there's a bit of me in that techiness now because it's like it's techie but like on everyone's terms kind of thing and not just someone like going not just someone going insane. But no, at the moment that's my favorite song. It's got a lot of flavor. It's really angry and spitty. I like it. And if I had to get rid of a song, I think it would actually probably be, and it breaks my heart, it does. It would probably be the closing song. He's sad. I'm sad. Which is
We're sad.
Which is Upside Down. I love that song. Don't get me wrong. Like
this is Johnny's idea.
I don't want to get rid of any of them, but just at the moment, it's not my flavour of the week. Like, you know, like I reckon in...
How much has it changed for you since... Like, you guys have been sitting the album for a little while.
Yeah.
We've been sitting the album for a little while, so you guys have been sitting it for a long time.
Yeah.
It's actually hurting my heart.
I know.
I got you a new cushion and everything.
Off the record, I probably would have chosen Crossfire as well, but
Ooh.
like...
You realise there's no such thing as off the record. But
I'm aware of that.
She's off the record, just cuts. Fuck.
Yeah, just one long bleep across all of this. You could do that, but anyway, no, yeah.
No, he can't.
I adore that song too. I was just trying to add variety, you know. But
has it changed? That's what I was getting at. Have the songs changed? Like, do you go through phases? Because you said song of the week.
So much.
Yeah. Okay.
So I said song of the week and I mean it. Yeah, like as in next week I'm going to be saying that Upside Down is my favourite song. And I probably said it.
And I've always said that.
I've been saying this. Yeah, I have a different favourite song every fucking day.
That's cool though. I think it keeps it fresh for you because you get excited about new things. Like I like when you come to a band, like I was talking with Josh from Unit 6 about their very first album. He's like, oh, I go and listen to that all the time. I love those songs. We never get to play them, but I love them.
You have to write songs that you want to hear. If you don't, then honestly, what are you doing? Like, you have to write songs that you love and you would actively listen to because, like, I don't know, it takes a little bit of time to get to that point, of course, don't get me wrong, and I don't want to discourage anyone from writing songs that they at first might not like, but maybe they come to love. Like, I just think that that's such an important part, at least in our experience, is...
It's just so hard to persevere with a song that you think there's something there, but you don't love it.
Mm-hmm. That was The Flower, which is now my favourite song. It almost didn't make it.
This week.
Yeah, for now. It almost didn't make it onto the album because there was like something like just, you know, that je ne sais quoi. You can't explain it, but like at some point there was what?
In my head, Joey's going, that wasn't English.
This is Italian, right? Are you Italian?
Sorry. Anyway.
I could have said anything at that point. You guys would be
We're so bad at what we do.
The thing is, I'm listening, but I also know you so well.
Yeah, that is true.
And
I just saw you both out of the corner of my eye, just like shaking with laughter. And I'm like, what is it, guys? Anyway.
Full disclosure, in my brain, for about 2 minutes after we made the joke and I said I was sitting on your album, I was wondering if I sat on vinyl, would it snap or would it just slowly get hot and warm?
And you're just going like, all the while when this is going on.
I don't know if you've seen this, but
It's
my
like-
favourite thing about Johnny is like when you cut into his head and there's monkeys.
Yeah, it's like Homer Simpson
That is
with the...
actually what's happening.
They're perfectly in time.
But it's not cymbals, it's vinyl.
Yeah, that works.
Anyway, go on.
What was that? Yeah, I can't say that anymore. But like, there was something about it that you couldn't put your finger on, but it just wasn't quite working. We couldn't get it there. But then you would know because you're in a recording band.
As a vocalist.
As a vocalist, as anyone in a you get into the studio and something just happens and suddenly it does work. Like it's almost like the pressure of being in there that like you just, I don't know, you push it that extra hard or like you work just that little bit harder or something like that. And
which is why you end up blowing your voice out.
Well, I don't mean it like that. I more mean just like, when I say hard, I don't mean like efforted. I mean more like there was something in the back of your brain that just hadn't done it yet. Like maybe on the day that we recorded the demo, I just wasn't in the right place. I just wasn't feeling it.
She recorded from a phone booth.
And it changes everything. And then, so when after I had a bounce sitting, like I listened to it in the car on my way home, I had a bounce. I was like, yeah, this is definitely going on the album. Like there was no way that it wouldn't anymore. And I would fight for it. And we all did in the end.
I like that.
I don't think I've ever had that. My fucking toxic trait to myself is that when I'm in the studio and I'm doing something, and even when I'm hearing it back as he's sort of mixing it and whatever, I'm going, yeah, cool. And everyone's like, oh, good job, good take, whatever.
Yeah.
After I hear it, after that, I hate it. I always hate it. I never enjoy it. And I'm always like, no, it's not right. We can't mix it yet. We're not releasing it. I don't like it. And they're just like, what the fuck's wrong with it? I'm like, it's not good enough. All the time.
I so get it. And I did have one of those songs too on this album. That was actually like my baby too. You know, you've got that one baby song that you really love. That was Soraya. I think it's track 5 or 6 or something like that. I adored that song. That was another song that Brandon and I wrote in the writing room together. And we recorded it. Like I loved the demo, and it's something that Chris and we call demo-itis. Do you have demo-itis?
Yeah. Always.
You might not have coined it, but like it I hadn't heard it outside of that before, but like I had insane demo-itis for the actual for the song Soraya, and then when we recorded it, I could not get it right, and I was in tears at some point. I was like thinking that this song wouldn't make it onto the album because I was like, it just means that much to me, and I really wanted it to get past. I actually ended up doing a bit of a re-record on that song too, like at the end of the process, because it's actually the song that I started with. Sometimes it takes a couple of days to like warm up. Yeah. You know, like the first song is going to be like the rustiest song. So yeah, we came back and we did a little bit of re-recording, and now it's all good. We love it.
What does that mean for playing live? For those songs that you struggle with in the recording process, is that something that now you're like, cool, well, we just have to fucking rehearse the shit out of this before we go?
Yeah, honestly, it's sometimes it's just a practice makes not perfect. Practice makes almost sort of
practice makes bits better.
Yeah, practice makes tolerable. Better. Yeah, exactly. That's pretty much where we're at this stage, is just and also like recording all of these songs was a form of practice as well, because I like picked up things that I will now remember for when we do play them live on tour in June. Yeah, I think it's just practice, honestly.
What song are we most looking forward to playing live?
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask.
Originally, I said Killstar if we hadn't played it already.
No.
I would probably go...
You're wrong.
How do you feel, Mom? You idiots!
They hate Killstar.
I hate Killstar.
It's a running joke. It was a running joke
Killstar
through the entire production process that Killstar is shit.
Yeah, Killstar sucks.
Because everyone found it so hard to play.
It's so
hard. And that's
hard.
fair. That's fair. It is arguably the...
It's like
I'd say the
expert
second
mode,
most techy
Guitar
song.
Hero.
Yeah, it's tech as fuck.
Yeah. But, you know, everyone loves it now.
It's Brandon's like candy song, you know. It's like, you can have a little bit as a treat.
Yeah.
A little
boy.
bit speaking
that language.
Have a prog.
Literally.
Yeah. I'd say Upside Down, probably.
Oh.
That's kind of, I think it's a good bridge between, like, heavy,
Yeah.
or it's kind of us doing our heavy,
Cool.
but also having a little bit of tech in there.
I back it.
Yeah.
I reckon I'm most looking forward to playing, this is a bit like of a rogue take, but I'm most looking forward to playing Physical, which is track 8, I think.
It's a cover of Olivia Newton-John, for those of you who
Everyone's going to say that, yeah. Maybe we should open with like, that'd be funny. We open with like a little
come
sample
out
of
to
that.
it.
And then it like,
Great.
oh yeah, that's going to,
really
yeah.
good
We're cooking now. That's going to be like our opening track. Because like for the one reason that there's this amazing like jump section. Like
Yeah,
there's
cool.
2 sections at the start and the end. And I literally like you know when you listen to like a live album versus the actual album, and you can like you sort of hear the live antics that the vocalist says. I literally get to like wanna feel this, hey, get physical, jump, 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 dun, 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 dun. Oh, it's gonna be so good.
I like that.
Hopefully people get into it. So it's, I'm really like, I built it up pretty high in my head. So.
Yeah.
There's expectations, you guys. So.
Like massive concerts in my head every night. So don't know how.
Everyone out there watching this is going to be like, let's ruin this one. This will be a real
jump.
Everyone just sits.
Rope. I'll be so disappointed.
I want to talk about upcoming tour because you guys have had some pretty massive support spots in the past year.
Now we're playing tiny rooms. Let's go.
Oh, yeah.
Is that exciting?
Yeah.
It is. Yeah. It is definitely. I mean, well, this is our first headline tour, actually.
Yeah.
We did a co-headline a few years ago. I guess 2022 just doesn't exist.
Johnny's so old that years feel like months. Sorry. Yeah.
We did a co-headline like 2 years ago, which was great, but no, this is like kind of, it's scary because it's like all eyes on RELIQA now, you know, but no, it's going to be so exciting, especially like we've gained so much live confidence, especially playing those big rooms. And granted, I am a bit nervous because we have played a couple of big stages recently, which is such a privilege. Like, don't get me wrong, but it's going to be like a big stage and a small stage show is completely different in the way that you conduct yourself and the way that you move, and like, I mean, even just like being able to walk more than a meter, it makes a difference to your performance. So I need to sort of train myself a little bit to play in these small rooms, which is going to be it's going to be great because we're going to be playing these small rooms. Like, we're going to be headlining more than this, and so like just realistically, there's magic to those rooms too. You know, it's so infectious. I'm so excited. Yeah, like I don't want any of this to sound like I'm just like, oh, we really want to play Horton Pavilion.
Yeah, we do,
That is absolutely.
It's not
true.
arena, why bother? Darling.
So it's like, it's going to be an adjustment, but like a very welcome one because we are really looking forward to it at the same time.
Oh, we're looking forward to it too.
Oh,
good.
You guys are playing on
Central
local soil
Coast
as well.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
It's going to be fun.
That will be.
Gossy represents.
Gossy,
I think I
times.
said to you, like, I am not getting out of bed until 5 minutes before loaded. Like, there's no need. I live 5 minutes away.
Yeah,
literally.
exactly.
It's
Are you
crazy.
local too? Like,
Used to
super
be.
local?
I used to live in Narara. I
Okay.
just recently moved up to Morris.
So annoying.
So I'm
It's
technically
3
not
minutes
Central
from my
Coast
house.
anymore.
Now
Like,
what?
Hell
I'm a
yeah.
trainer. Yeah.
You are,
He's a
yeah.
traitor.
Did you go to Gosford too?
Yep.
Oh.
Yeah, we all did. We're a high school
Gosford
band.
High.
No, I think maybe because we all did.
We
Johnny did.
RELIQA all did. Yeah.
My son just sat his Gosford High exam today.
I sat mine
So-
on my birthday.
Did you?
I remember that actually. Yeah.
Wow.
Good luck to you. Oh, hang on. I have a feeling. Yeah, because I was like, driving past there this morning and I saw a bunch of little kiddies outside.
No, he didn't do it there though.
There,
He had to
yeah,
do it
yeah.
at
Some of them-
Tumby, and I'm just like, so how was it? And he was like, he goes, oh, it was great. He goes, I didn't do it at Gosford though, remember? Because I was like, oh, did you get to have a look around the school? And he's
Yeah.
like, no, I didn't do it. I did it at Tumby. And I'm like, oh, how was that? And he goes, I saw a vape in the toilet.
Oh,
just like,
no.
and I said, and he goes, don't want to go to this school. Good
I had
boy.
that exact thing. I did it like the entrance high because
Yeah.
that's like was the.
I think I did it mine at like Kincumber.
Yeah, and I was at that school being like, I don't want to go to high school.
Yeah.
This sucks.
I know.
Yeah.
But
No
how-
offense to anyone that went there, but
yeah. Just ratting on Tommy.
we didn't go there. It's fine.
God.
Yeah, that was the experience. Being like, that's a scary thing. That's exciting for him though.
That is so exciting. I can't wait to find out like if it worked out.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fingers
We'll
crossed.
see how he goes. He's a clever kid. Doesn't
Yeah.
take after his dad.
I was like, hold your tongue. Hold your
Where is
tongue.
this going?
Yeah. Well, guys, thank you for coming to hang out. Being
It's
our
been such a pleasure.
debut interview in the studio.
Yeah.
Hopefully one of many.
You guys are welcome back anytime.
Who else lives on the
Anytime.
coast?
Uh,
I don't know.
Nick from North Lane?
Yeah, Nick from
Hang
North
out.
Lane's here.
On the coast?
Yeah, he moved to the coast last year.
Nice! Nice.
We take our dogs for walks. It's cute.
Dope.
Yeah.
That's cool.
If you want
Yeah.
to come for a walk with my dog, let me know.
Always.
She loves
Always.
friends.
Aw.
And if you ever want to come and hang out and work out, Johnny won't be here.
I will.
Yeah.
I'll be up here.
Eat a cheeseburger.
Oh, McDonald's is so close.
Oh my god.
But
No,
yeah,
it's
If
been
you
so-
guys, album's out now. Go listen,
Yay.
stream, buy, go to live shows, support.
all of those things.
You're doing actions to.
Yep.
I like that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank
What
you.
was
You're a
the
good
support
team.
one? Like a hug?
I think I just went. That would have been my bit. Yeah.
Oh, we're done with the interview. My niece was over the day and she's like 1.5. So cute. But she's let's do this.
Oh.
So she did, we were like stacking coloured blocks. And she did it right and she went, oh,
That's
And I went-
awesome.
That's everything.
Melt.
That is everything.
so cute.
Oh my
But-
god.
All right. Well, that was fun.
That was so
Yeah,
fun.
Love you guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
Johnny needs to run. I was looking
No,
at
of
the time. I was
course.
like,